Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to another turkey pattern test here. And we're still out here dealing with wind, unfortunately, so I'm going to try my best to work around it. I do apologize, but it is what it is. But I've got another pretty interesting test that I want to run today. Even though I kind of already know what to expect, or at least think I know what to expect, I still think it's definitely going to be something interesting to take a look at. But as for the load we're bringing out today, are some of the B&P Magnum Turkey. They're a 12 gauge 3-inch 2 ounce of number 6s going 1175. I do have the chronograph, so we'll actually be able to see how close that 1175 actually is to what we see across our chronograph. And as for what setup we're going to be using, we've brought out again the Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag, but I decided to throw in our Kicks Gobblin Thunder choke here. That's a 680 constriction choke that has shown us some really good patterns so far from what we've tested. But as for those B&P turkey shells, they have been underwhelming to say the least so far. They have yet to really show us a decent pattern. It's pretty much always just shot on paper. I mean, they would be a good waterfowl pattern, but they're lead 6s, so you can't really use them for a waterfowl load. But when it came to a turkey load, they have not been impressive to say the least. So I don't necessarily expect fantastic results, but I still think we should test them through a few other of the chokes and combos that I do have to see if by some chance there is a setup out there that they actually perform good in. And now that I have the chronograph out here, as well as I'm tracking down all the wads and taking a quick look at what the wad looks like, maybe we can try and piece together a little bit of why these shells don't perform. Maybe it's too much shot in too small of a wad, or being pushed way too fast, or something like that. Maybe we can figure that out. But either way, the turkey target is set up over here at 40 yards. So I'm going to get you guys set up. We'll take the shot. Of course, it will be across the chronograph. So then we'll come up real quick, take a look and see what velocity we got. And then we'll see how they did down there on the paper. So let's head over here and get set up and shoot them and see how they do. Okay, so that shot gave us 1,269 feet per second. The box called for 1175, so we're almost 100 feet per second faster than what the box claimed. So they're definitely pushing 2 ounces of lead pretty quick there, for sure. Alright y'all, well, this is what we got out of those B&P Magnum turkeys in that Kicks 680 choke. And we were definitely low, which is not something we typically see out of that choke combination. But either way, you can still see right off the bat just how open these shells actually are. And I do think I finally figured out why, which we'll talk about that in just a minute here. But either way, he is still a dead turkey. You do have 3 in the brain there. And he would definitely be a dead bird if that shot was a little bit higher on the paper. But as you can see, I mean, we were definitely low, but we still have shot all the way up here at the top of our paper here. And just as a size reference, that piece of paper is 36 by roughly 36. So we have well over a 36-inch pattern on this paper. They just seem to struggle in pretty much everything we've tested them through, I believe. I don't think there's been any pattern that's been better than this one. And that's saying something. If this is the best pattern we've gotten out of these shells, they're definitely nothing impressive, for sure. But either way, like I said a minute ago, I think I figured out part of the reason why these pattern like they do. So let's go take a look at that real quick. Okay, so this is our wad. And for those of you that know what you're doing with wads already, I'm no expert here, but I don't think they should be using a target style wad like this with a really short, I mean, there's my thumb in comparison to it, really short sides to the wad here. This is like your number 8 birdshot skeet load type of wad from what we've tested so far. And I don't think personally that should be what a turkey load uses. And on top of that, it's clearly pretty shredded up looking, and some of that could be due to the porting in the choke. But either way, we don't typically see wads that get shredded like this one. It's not really ripped, it's just really rough and shredded up feeling. But I would say the combination of this cheap wad, target style wad thing, combined with pushing 2 ounces worth of lead 6s at over 1250 feet per second, can definitely make for a not so ideal turkey pattern, in my opinion anyway. But other than that, I think this definitely has to do with how these pattern. There's no question about that. All right, y'all. Well, what do you think about it? It's yet again not impressive, to say the least, in my book. And for those of you that know more about hand loading and reloading and wad styles and things like that, is that wad, that small tiny little target style wad, packed with 2 ounces of lead 6s being pushed at over 1250 feet per second, potentially creating a problem for these shells that could pretty easily be fixed with a little bit different style wad or a little bit less hot of a charge? I'd be really interested to know some of the information about that. So if somebody out there knows a little bit more than I do, leave me a comment and let me know what you think about how they're loading those, because it definitely doesn't look like they're loading them as good as what they could be. But either way, what do you guys think? That pattern will work on a turkey out to 40 yards, but there's just so many better options out there for the same price or just a little bit more. And these shells have shown that pretty much no matter what choke or gun you put them through, at least in my testing, they just don't seem to be performers. And on that note, I've got some more tests I want to run out here today before we get some weather rolling in for the rest of the week. So I'm going to get back to it. Stick around because we've got plenty more tests coming to the channel. So I'm going to jump back into doing some more testing, and I'll see y'all in the next one.